Please sit back, relax, and welcome Soonmin Pearlman, presenting Outside the Box.
It is your first day back to school. It's lunch, and you're standing all alone in the cafeteria. Eager to find a seat, you try to find your friends from the previous school year to find a table. Yet, you quickly notice that your friend group from last year has split and are all sitting at tables of their own. Your friend from the second grade has made their way to the yoga pants table. The girl you met in your science class is now sporting an Alexander Hamilton shirt. And your BFF is conversing with the athletes who act like the gym class volleyball game is the Olympics. You are conflicted. On one hand, you enjoy participating in the school musical. But on the other, you're a part of the travel basketball team. These two passions are very important to you. But with the superficiality of school lunch tables, you feel pressure to conform to one table for the hope that you will be accepted to sit there from the first to the last day of the school year. The need to compromise our interests and personality to fit in is an unfortunate part of the school experience. A challenge success survey conducted in 2019 discovered that 1/3 of middle and high school students felt like they couldn't express themselves at school, nor that they felt included in their school community. When we feel outcast, we intuitively try to fit in. In my own journey to fit in to both of my cultural backgrounds, I interviewed my Korean uncle and went to a Jewish sleepaway camp. However, it was not until I spoke with the rabbi of my congregation when I discovered that both parts of my background could coexist in harmony. I realized throughout my search that I stripped my individuality and originality to belong. We owe it to ourselves to break free from broad and rigid communities and instead embrace our own distinct narrative. Before I started my search, I wanted to understand if and why community is universally important to everyone. After conducting research on the origins of Homo sapiens, I discovered that our desire to belong is not only psychological and emotional, but ingrained in our DNA. 2.5 million years ago, Homo sapiens originated from an ape-like ancestor. Many scientists and historians support the theory that 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens underwent the cognitive revolution. During the cognitive revolution, the brains of Homo sapiens became rounder, and the composition of their cerebellum changed, altering the way they facilitate movement, their physical coordination, and their ability to process language. Before the cognitive revolution, they were nomadic and traveled in small packs since they did not have the language capacity to communicate to a mass amount of people. After the cognitive revolution, they were able to express elaborate and fictional ideas, which provided them the ability to create common belief systems like religion. As sapiens became united under abstract faith and ideals, they formed societies through settlements. Their early settlements are equivalent to our everyday communities. In my own desire for community, I explored my Korean and Jewish background. Despite having a doljabi, a Korean ceremony on a child's first birthday, and a bat mitzvah, I have never felt a part of either community. I have always wanted to feel proud of my identity without doubting myself. I hope that by educating and forcing myself to interact with these communities, I would gain more security in my identity. My first step was to have a conversation with my uncle. My uncle works at the Korea Society, a nonprofit organization aimed to educate and bring attention to the positive relationship between the United States and South Korea. Since my uncle immerses himself with Korean culture every day at work, I thought that he would be the perfect candidate to talk to. However, I was wrong. I asked my uncle, "Do you identify with being Korean?" To which he flatly responded, "Being Korean is something that I'm born into." His response made it clear that he inherently felt a part of the Korean community. He was bewildered by all of my questions and the idea that Korean identity could be more complex than nationality or ethnicity. After conversing with my uncle, I felt defeated and discouraged. An experience I had over the summer then dawned on me. Last summer, I went to a Jewish sleepaway camp in Pennsylvania. I assumed that this would be a simple way of feeling more immersed and connected with the community. Once again, I was wrong. My bunkmates would ask me if I was Jewish, which I found strange since I seemed to be the only one suspected of not being. They would also try to dramatically assist me in reading Hebrew at prayer services, as if I was inept. All of this bothered me and made me feel like they're trying to humiliate me. Whether that is true or just my own insecurity, this experience was a reminder of another failed attempt to feel part of a community. Despite my lack of progress on my rocky journey, I was determined not to give up. I figured that my next step would be to visit the Jewish Museum in New York City. Similar to my conversation with my uncle, I wanted to become well-informed on the culture of one of my backgrounds, which would hopefully lead me to feel a stronger connection with the community. The first floor of the museum featured an exhibit, Trenton Doyle Hancock Confronts Philip Guston, that explored the works of Philip Guston, a Jewish artist who frequently painted the KKK. One of his paintings, The Studio, made in 1969, surprised me, as it featured a Ku Klux Klan member casually painting himself while smoking a cigarette, surrounded by hues of pink. It wasn't until a couple of days later, when I kept thinking about the painting, that I understood it. The Studio is an honest piece in which Guston confronts himself for conforming to his racist society. Born Philip Goldstein, Guston and his family were often targets of the Ku Klux Klan. The anti-Semitism that he had experienced in his youth led him to change his last name from Goldstein, a common Jewish last name, to Guston, to hide his Jewish identity and escape from anti-Semitism. Reflecting on his decision to change his name as an effort to erase his prejudiced identity, Guston depicts himself as a Ku Klux Klan member. In the painting, the Ku Klux Klan member is painting a self-portrait while smoking. Guston has a reputation for painting self-portraits of him smoking. The Ku Klux Klan member in the painting's hand is also red, which is likely a play on the phrase, caught red-handed. All of this links the Ku Klux Klan member in the painting to Guston himself. After solving the mystery, I finally realized why this painting lingered in my mind. The painting almost perfectly pictured my unruly journey seeking community. Similar to my own experience, Guston felt that he needed to change himself to be accepted. Although I wasn't ready to give up my goal to find community, I started to realize that my current strategy was fallible. After I visited the Jewish Museum, I met with the rabbi of my congregation, Rabbi Zakharoff. Given how discouraging my conversation with my uncle was, I was wary of how productive our conversation would be. When I asked the rabbi, what specific moments or events were the most impactful to her in her faith journey, I was expecting to hear about her bat mitzvah or rabbinical school. But to my surprise, she shared with me 2 distinct moments she had experienced in her youth. When she was 8 years old, she had asked her mother, "Is Jesus the Son of God?" Her mother, a Catholic, paused and responded, "Your religion teaches no." Rabbi Zakharoff interpreted this moment as her mother showing deep respect for her and her religion, since she wasn't imposing her own beliefs on her daughter and was honoring her daughter's Jewish identity. Another pivotal moment in the rabbi's faith journey was when someone had told her, "You're not Jewish because your mother isn't Jewish." Rabbi Zakharoff explained to me that it felt as if the community was rejecting me. Not only could I relate to the rabbi's experience of being raised in a multicultural household and an encounter with someone discrediting my Jewish identity, but I also related to the rabbi's feeling of abandonment by the community for aligning with 2 different cultures. However, the rabbi embraced her life experiences growing up in an interfaith household and decided that she was going to be proud of her background and practice Judaism the way she wants to, despite what others might expect a rabbi to. She felt lucky to be from an interfaith family and will sometimes go to church with her mother to support her. Discussions within Rabbi Zakharoff's own family inspired the interfaith work she does today, which seeks to bring people together from different faiths to find common ground, while also celebrating our differences. My conversation with Rabbi Zakharoff exposed my flawed and rigid outlook on becoming a part of a community. I now understand that I should be proud of being a fusion of both of my backgrounds, instead of trying to box myself into one identity or the other. When I talked with Rabbi Zakharoff, I discovered a deeper understanding of community. Far below the surface, I found someone who owned their differences and proudly told their own story. 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens were provided the ability to create belief systems and stories. Their belief systems and stories were molded after their life experiences and hardships. Our capacity to be imaginative and bring together large masses of people has proven to be a skill ingrained in our DNA that has contributed to our success as a species. It is important for us as Homo sapiens to continue to exercise our competence at sharing authentic ideas, to live lives that are true and honest to ourselves. By telling our own unique stories, we find community. I realized that when I felt the most a part of a community, I honored both sides of my background. Next time we're in a quandary where you're not sure where to sit, remember to be authentic to your own personal story. Instead of giving into pressure to sit at the restrictive and limiting lunch tables, ask yourself if these jejune traits truly define who you are as a person. The truth is that the narrow narratives that lunch tables create fail to capture our complexity and oversimplify who we are as individuals. By analyzing the history of our species, deconstructing a painting, and engaging with someone who was able to merge both sides of our heritage, I revised my rigid outlook. I urge you as well to reject the cliche lunch tables you encounter in your everyday lives, whether that is political affiliation, economic status, race, and any other group identity, to confidently embrace your own distinct narrative. Instead of letting others define your identity, think outside the box and create your own definition. Thank you.